Old man's here. Game 1 of the World Series. For the first time in 32 years, the Toronto Blue Jays are back. And how do they respond? Mamma mia. The old man is beside himself with glee as the Blue Jays win 11-4 and absolutely bash the Los Angeles Dodgers into submission. Let's go to the tape. And early on, with Treyas Savage starting, it was obvious something special was in the air. I'll tell you, half a dozen starts under his belt, Mama Savage and Papa Savage are loving what they see. Bo Bichette makes his triumphant return to the Blue Jays lineup and doesn't miss a beat. Man, if he doesn't get injured and loses the last 30-40 games of the season, he would have finished with hits as the leader in MLB. But instead, he's back now, and that's what matters. Kiki Hernandez getting it done. Can't go by the name Kiki on television. Doesn't look right. So Enrique ends up punching through a ball, and early on, it looked like Savage was going to be in some real trouble. But every now and then, he could go to that special release point of his and the splitter and get it done. However, eventually Will Smith gets to him, and unfortunately for the Dodgers, it's an inning that wouldn't last very long because of shenanigans like that. Boy, the Blue Jays have been amazing recipients of New York Yankees, Seattle Mariners, and now Los Angeles Dodgers. Horrible defense. Speaking of great defense, though, Bo Bichette with the gold star play in the third inning. This, my friends, was a turning point in some respects. If he doesn't make that play, the Blue Jays are in big trouble. The inning never ends. Who knows what happens? I'll tell you, though, it was a battle all night long for Treyas Savage, and the biggest problem, I think, was that he wasn't spotting his fastball and throwing enough splitters. There he did, and it looked great. Instead, he relied on a healthy diet of sliders, and as you can see, every now and then, he found a way to make it work, and that's what matters. He kept it going under difficult circumstances, and he looked just completely at home. It was ridiculous, man. Half a dozen starts, so many levels of organized baseball. That's when Dalton Varsho steps up and reminds the old man that once upon a time he had a problem with the Blue Jays selling key pieces in order to get him in that trade. But at the end of the day, Dalton Varsho has turned out to be one of Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins' true projects of pure reclamation and then some. What a player, and he is on this team. Let's admire that. What a stroke. The man has figured it out. 2 inches back on the plate helps. A little bit of David Pumpkins action mixed in, and you've got yourself a player reborn. And the great thing about Varsho is he's now starting to get noticed. So what does Blake Snell do? He goes ahead and hits him in a way that startled him because it was a hell of a key at bat. It didn't make sense to load the bases hitting Varsho, but then a lot of things didn't make sense last night. What a game. Sir Anthony Dominguez steps in, takes care of Hernandez the other, and reminds people why he's so effective. Love him as a reliever. Ernie Clement steps up and reminds people quickly why he was such a clutch hitter. Unbelievable the things he's done, making contact, creating excitement, creating possibilities, and unfortunately in this sequence, it didn't end up working out that way. However, Nathan Lucas, with the Jays up 4-2, decides that he's going to take a walk, and suddenly the Blue Jays are in flight, making things happen. Jimenez steps up, unbelievable. It's like Jumanji out there. I don't know what's happening, but the Blue Jays now have a 3-run lead after being down in the early part of the game. That's when Addison, the boss, Barger, steps up and annihilates this Panda pitch by sending it into the atmosphere. The first ever pinch hit grand slam home run in Major League Baseball history. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. These Blue Jays are the stuff of fairy tales and wonders, of fables and Baba Yaga. It just blows my mind. The old man can't believe it. The old man's sipping Ovaltine and a little bit of cognac on the side and reminding himself why Dave Roberts is probably shell-shocked and won't be sleeping tonight. Why? because they're playing the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, a team that for the longest time seemed to be written off, with no one caring that the fact that they finished 5th last year. At one point this season they were 26-28, but now look at them, and look at these fans. It's a trance out there. It's wonderment, true through and through. Speaking of wonderment, how about the mini Viking Alejandro Kirk as he belts this 2-run bomb in the bottom of the 6th and reminds everybody, hey, I'm here. I'm a miniature Viking. You want to put me in your pocket and take you home? Oh, and the home run jacket? Yeah, it's not really made for him, but I love the fact that he kind of grabbed it afterwards and just walked into the dugout like a cool cat. Shohei Ohtani, of course, won't be stopped, and unfortunately Fisher has to pay the price. This is what's known as a completely useless 2-run home run, and of course he can pad his stats all he wants, but the fact is, Ohtani, we didn't need you. We didn't want you, and give us back all the free stuff we gave you. Mookie Betts quickly looks and finds himself on the receiving end of the strikeout to end the game, and the Blue Jays are triumphant, winning the very first World Series game around these parts in 32 years. The old man will sleep well tonight, and so will you. Just remember to like and subscribe for another episode of Old Man Bleeding Blue. Go, Jays, go. History will be made. I'm going to sleep.